Greetings, beloved. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome, welcome to our Wholesome Wednesday. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for giving us the feedback. We really appreciate. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. Let us continue to like, share, and subscribe so that our channel can grow. So today we are continuing in the book of Exodus. We are continuing. Last week we spoke about a dependable God, where we are saying that a God is a God that we can depend on. Sometimes we find ourselves in sticky situations and we really don't know what to do, and we want to first try out our own methods, and then when they don't work, then we come to God. We want to have God as our first reflex action, right? Is our God as our default settings, that if anything happens, we just naturally would go back to God. So today we are continuing in the book of Exodus, and we're looking still the children of Israel. They are still in the wilderness, and they get to a place where there's no water. Again, yes, they go to a place where there is no water, and they are going to Moses. I'm sure you already know what they are saying to Moses. Why are we here? You want us to die and our livestock to die? You took us from Egypt and you brought us here in the wilderness so that we could die. You know, we might judge the children of Israel and think, okay, fine. You at one point you had no water, God had to come through for you. I mean, you should know better that God will come through for you when there is no water. But you see, the other thing that was making the children of Israel struggle with the idea of not having water, with a God that is actually that is a rock that can give water, is that around them, remember, they are in the wilderness, but around them there were nations that were thriving, nations that were continuing with their everyday lives as if nothing has happened. So they are looking around them and they are seeing these nations thriving, living as if nothing has happened. And they're thinking, but why is it when we're going to our own land, we have to suffer this much? I mean, we could have just lodged in these cities as we are going by than use the wilderness. So this is their frustration as well. So they go to Moses, why are we here? And Moses says, God, what do I do with these people? What do I do? And then God says, okay, go and strike a rock using your rod, and the water is going to come out. And he does that, and the water comes out. This is the same way that, remember, that later on Moses is told to strike the rock, is told, given an instruction to do something else, to talk, but he decides to strike the rock again. And that is the reason why he ends up not going to see Canaan. So now they are here. This is the first time they are here, and he strikes the rock, and the water comes out. And then Amalek wants to fight the children of Israel by Rephidim. And then God says, you know what, go and tell Joshua to gather all the army generals so that you guys can go to war. I'm going to be with you. I'm going to fight for you. And you're thinking, hey, but why do you have to go and fight when you are here? Why don't you just, I mean, why does it have to be bloody? Most of the questions that have been asked was, why does it have to be bloody? Why did God have to make the children of Israel fight and win? And that will mean killing other people in the process. Why couldn't he just give them a safe passage where you kill nobody and you just go through? Now, at any given time, when someone does something for someone, there's always a sacrifice somewhere. You might not see it. You might be the recipient of the kindness. You might be, there is nothing for free. There is always someone who pays a price for your stubbornness, for all the things that you do. There is always someone who will pay the price. So now the children of Israel, they have to go through here because God wants to teach them to fully trust in Him, right? So now you can imagine, as a warrior, you are in war, you are fighting for the children of Israel, and there is this from the opposing army, someone is pursuing you and is coming for your blood. And God wants you at that moment, there and there, when they are coming for you, to look them in the face as they come and believe that as they will come as close as they could, God is going to give you strength to kill them, right? God, to fully trust that even if they are coming with so much vigor and they are zealous about it, right? God is going to give you strength to overcome. God is going to give you. So God wanted them to fully align their hearts and their minds unto Him, to fully trust in Him. So you will see this because now Moses goes up the mountain and he has to oversee the children of Israel as they are fighting. And every time he has to lift up the rod, his hand is up. And when he gets tired, Aaron and her, they have to help his hand so that it remains up. Because if it comes down, the children of Israel seem to be being conquered. But if he lifts up his hand, that the children of Israel seem to prevail. So what is it about Moses that he was getting that the children of Israel were not getting? Moses had a relationship with God. So from time to time, he'll go to God and say, hey, what's going on here? And you realize most of the times when he's going to God to say what's going on here, it's got nothing to do with water or there's no food. No, there are bigger issues that he is going to God to ask for, right? The children of Israel, just the mention of water not being there, the absence of food, the absence, just for that, it was enough for them to want to go back to Egypt, showing that the children of Israel, they were out of slavery, but their minds were still in slavery. In their minds, they're still in captivity. Their minds were captured, right? So there's this ideal on how they should operate with their master, their slave master, right? Someone need to go and represent them to the slave master. And now there is Moses who has to go to God. And God doesn't want that. God wants one-on-one. Doesn't, of course, he talks to them as a corporate body, right? But he wanted them to, as an individual, like I gave you that example of a warrior, that the other warrior from the other side is charging and is coming for you. There and there, God wants you to think that, okay, I'm seeing them. They are so scary. They are so big. Their spear is huge. But I trust that God said that He's going to come through. That He's going to, when they are here, I don't know how I'm going to fight them. When they get in front of me, I'm going to overcome. That's what He wanted. But you find that the children of Israel, every time God wanted to meet them, they say, you Moses, go, He's going to kill us. We are scared. So that denied them from that relationship that they were supposed to have with Him as individuals, right? So now they were equating their slave master with God. So now this authority that they had, which was the slave master, they were equating the same relationship with God, and God was trying to get that out of them, right? Some of us, we are struggling with the idea of having a God that loves us fully because the authorities that we have had in our lives were not a true representation of who God is. So we are trying by all means to imagine this God that we can fully let our guard down and let our hair go down and really be vulnerable and still feel secure. That is unnatural for a human being. But today I want to tell you of a God that you can fully trust, that you can fully lean on. Not lean on your own understanding, no, but fully trust in God because He is there for you. Yes, He is there for you. I know that out there, the authorities that we have seen, people in power that we have seen in our lives, they are totally the opposite of who God is. Just try Him out. There is a God that you can fully trust. There is a God that you can fully lean on. There is a God that is fully willing to have a relationship with you. The difference between the children of Israel and Moses was trust. Moses had full trust in God, right? Yes, he ended up striking the rock when he was not supposed to, but it was an issue of trust. It was an issue of frustration that he was getting from the children of Israel. But when it comes to trust and fully depending on God, he was fully trusting God, even if things around him could not show, right, what the solution was going to be. He chose to fully trust, and that trust is a byproduct of faith. Having faith that I don't see the evidence, but I know that God is there. I don't see the evidence, but I fully trust that He's not going to leave us here. So I'm calling you to a God that you can fully trust. And when you are trusting, you don't keep some of the things for yourself and shun out and close out God. No, you fully surrender everything about you unto Him. I know that is a very scary phenomenon for a human being, but a God that we serve is a God that we can trust, and He fully wants us to commit our hearts and our minds unto Him. That is when we will see the power of God.